I wanted to tell you all, well, I truly wanted to convey to each and every one of you as we officially commence this particular class, which is specifically class 7. My apologies. I meant to say day 7 and more precisely class 4. Okay. I'm going to talk about parts of speech. And I wanted to let you know that I'm always following the book, my book, the one I wrote, task 2. Okay. So later, we're going to have English, general English, also here on YouTube. Okay. I wanted to tell you that over my 40 years, I've given many lectures. I've talked a lot about the English language out there. I have a master's degree in the field in linguistics, and I need to tell you and let you know that it's goodbye. It's quite different from a video lesson. I've worked on TV before, also back in Brazil. And it's important to mention that when I worked on TV, it was really enjoyable. We would perform receptive tourism in English and Spanish. It was really cool. I'm going to show it here later on. This was many years ago, so you'll see I'm much younger later, so you can pay attention. Today, right now, in this particular and engaging class 4, I genuinely want to thoroughly show you precisely what the fundamental parts of speech truly are. Well, it's something that is truly and remarkably enjoyable to learn and comprehend, but I am certainly going to endeavor to do it in the most wonderfully enjoyable and accessible way possible for everyone to learn and grasp. It's part of speech, because we need to know what an adverb is, what a noun is, what a verb is, and what an adjective is. It's important. Where do I put them? And how do I use them effectively as well? Okay, so let's get started with this explanation right now. For speaking and for your writing, this is essential for your reading. It's essential for your listening as well. We might think it's not, but when I start with listening and reading, you'll see just how essential it is. Let's go. Let's share the screen here again. And just to gently remind you, it's all comprehensively detailed in the book. Everything that I am talking about here in this very moment is also clearly presented on page 11. And there's a substantial amount of additional and valuable material available for you to explore on kikakabalazi.com.au. Let's move on to parts of speech. So before we dive into all the intricate grammar tricks, sophisticated techniques, and elaborate sentence structures from this comprehensive book I personally wrote and authored, let's take a significant step back, a considerable step back, a truly big and substantial step back to what we originally learned a long, long time ago, way back in our early educational journeys, and talk about something fundamentally important that we utilize and employ all the time, every single day. The fundamental parts of speech, also known as grammatical categories. In Portuguese, we would call them distinct word classes or lexical categories. But let's speak in Portuguese. Portuguese and English. Today we'll have both. We have both Portuguese and English. You might be thinking, but this is easy, I know this. And you probably do know it. But here's the point. If we're going to talk about word formation, sentence variety, and academic writing, we need to be on the same page about what a sentence is made of, first of all. Right? Do you agree with me? Think of a sentence as if it were a pizza. This is a sentence, okay? If you need the right ingredients in the right amounts for it to work, if you only use cheese, it's not a real pizza. If you throw in a bunch of random things without any balance, it won't taste good. In writing, it's the same thing. You absolutely need various nouns. You certainly need descriptive adjectives. You definitely need active verbs and precise adverbs to effectively balance your entire sentence structure. All right, let's now move on from this point here. Let me move on here. Let me put this here. And let's move on. So why exactly are we commencing our journey at this particular juncture, at this specific point in time? The base of a pizza is the noun. A noun is essentially a thing, a person, a specific place. Okay? Here, the noun, okay? Or even an idea, it can be an idea, right? The main and fundamental ingredient in most comprehensive sentences, you absolutely cannot build a complete sentence without a noun, okay? For example, individual people can be a dedicated teacher, an eager student, or even brilliant scientists, among many other roles. Places can be school, Australia, office. Things can be book, computer, table, ideas. It can be happiness, success, freedom, everything, everything. The teacher promptly gave the diligent student a challenging and complex academic assignment, which required significant effort and time. This particular sentence, why exactly am I starting? Why do I truly start with this specific point in the book? If you've been diligently following me for quite a while, you undoubtedly know that we frequently talk all the time about the fascinating process of word formation. This particular linguistic phenomenon is commonly called word formation, or perhaps word choice, or even something else entirely, whatever you prefer to call it, okay? Word formation, sentence transformation, and grammatical accuracy. But to accomplish all of this, we truly need to fully and completely understand precisely how individual words function and operate within the intricate structure of a sentence. You simply cannot effectively discuss or explain why the verb develop ultimately transforms into the noun development. You just can't. You can't. You simply can't just talk about You simply cannot truly know the fundamental difference between a verb and a noun. You absolutely cannot effectively discuss academic writing principles and intricate sentence structure if we do not fully understand how adjectives and adverbs profoundly shape and influence meaning. And that precisely is why we always start with the absolute basics, with the very foundation, with the essential building blocks of word formation. Where exactly can I appropriately place them? What precisely is an adjective? What exactly is a noun? And what is, it's right here. You can't discuss writing, academic work, and structure if we don't know this. When we consolidate this foundation, everything else, word formation, sentence structures, types of construction, it will all become much clearer. So let's make sure this foundation is solid before we start building. Do you see the adjectives here? Big, small, difficult, very simple. And we use them to intensify the nauticals, the adverbs. We primarily use them to describe precisely how, exactly when, and specifically where something truly happens. They are quite often used with the common lie ending at their conclusion, but this is certainly not always the case. But in our current say, we absolutely need them for one crucial additional ingredient in our delicious pizza, okay? We transform the words however we want. We create. We get very precise in the creation of specific words. And then finally, we carefully build the entire delicious pizza using all of these wonderful ingredients. Parts of speech, they're important. Just so you know, I'll give you word formation now in the next video, and you'll see how important it is. Remember that the adjective goes with the noun. They go together, they're always side by side. But if the adjective comes alone, it only comes with the verb to be. And what about the other verbs, Kika? The other verbs, they use adverbs. The one I mentioned earlier, the one that ends with ly. Okay? Let's go to the next class, which is the last class of today, day 7, which is word formation. So you can get it while it's still fresh in your mind. Okay? See you guys very soon.